It's a vast pottery army which is slowly being unearthed from the tomb where it's lain for more than 2,000 years.
For decades, the Terracotta Army remained one of history's greatest archaeological marvels. Thousands of clay soldiers, silently guarding secrets buried for over 2 millennia. But in 2025, a groundbreaking discovery stunned experts and challenged everything they thought they knew. What emerged from the ancient earth wasn't just a piece of the past. It carried a chilling message, a warning that suggested the Terracotta Army's purpose was far more ominous than anyone had imagined. It was a dry and desperate time in March 1974, when a severe drought struck the dusty lands of Shang village, near Shan in China's Shanxi province. The cracked earth offered no mercy, and the villagers, mostly poor farmers, were struggling to survive. Crops had withered under the sun, and the local wells had run dry. There were no grand buildings in Sheung, no busy streets, just a quiet, humble farming community where people lived in simple homes made of earth and brick, depending entirely on what they could grow from the soil. Yang Jifa, a hard-working farmer, was just one of many trying to keep his family alive. Along with his brothers, he picked a dry patch of land in hopes of digging a new well. As their shovels scraped deeper into the stubborn dirt, they had no idea they were standing on the edge of one of the greatest archaeological finds in human history. The digging was slow, the ground was tough and unyielding, but a few feet down, something unusual began to appear. First, it was shards of what looked like pottery, nothing too unusual for a place steeped in centuries of history. Then came bronze arrowheads. Still, the men thought they might have stumbled upon some old village ruins or forgotten graves. Young Jifa even joked that they might be cursed for disturbing the dead. But soon, a strange object appeared, an earthen head, eerily lifelike, its eyes frozen in a stern, distant stare. As they dug further, more pieces came into view: a torso, a leg, a hand grasping what seemed to be the remnants of a weapon. None of it made sense. These weren't the crude statues seen in temples or local shrines. These figures were different. Their detail was astonishing, their size almost as large as living men. What were they doing buried beneath a farmer's field? The local authorities were informed, and before long, archaeologist Zhao Kongman was called in. When Zhao saw the broken fragments, he immediately understood the significance. This was not just a statue. It was part of something far greater. His excitement grew as more pieces were unearthed, each figure different in expression, hairstyle, and posture. Zhao realized they were soldiers, thousands of them, created long ago with astonishing skill and intention. The news spread quickly, and the once quiet village of Shang turned into a buzzing center of activity. Government officials, scholars, and workers descended on the site. The farmers who once tilled the soil were now watching as machines and tools dug deeper, revealing row upon row of terracotta warriors standing in perfect formation. Many had weapons, others stood as if waiting for orders. Their armor, their hair, even the folds in their clothes were carved with breathtaking precision. The villagers were both awestruck and confused. How could something so massive have remained hidden under their feet for centuries? The land they had walked over every day now seemed sacred, mysterious. What they thought was just farmland was now known to be part of a massive underground complex, built with resources and labor that seemed unimaginable. It was a moment that changed everything, not only for the people of Sheng village, but for the entire country. The once forgotten patch of dry farmland had become the gateway to one of history's most astonishing treasures. It started with a simple act of survival, digging a well in search of water, and ended with the discovery of an entire army frozen in clay, hidden for over 2,000 years beneath the Chinese soil. As the excavation expanded, more pits were discovered, revealing officers, archers, chariots, and even life-sized horses. But it all began with a drought, a shovel, and a farmer who needed water. Yang Jifa never expected to find warriors instead. So this chance discovery led to the excavation of the Terracotta Army, revealing thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, intended to guard the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. You must be wondering, who was Qin Shi Huang, and what kind of emperor needed an entire army made of clay to protect him in death? Let's tell you about him. Qin Shi Huang, born in 259 BCE, stands as one of the most powerful and controversial figures in Chinese history. Rising from the kingdom of Qin, he became the first emperor to unify China in 221 BCE, after centuries of war between rival states. His vision went beyond mere political control. He wanted to create a lasting legacy that would define China for generations. To do this, he pushed forward reforms that touched nearly every aspect of life in the empire. He ordered the standardization of weights and measures, ensuring that trade and commerce could flow smoothly across the vast land. He also introduced a uniform written script, which helped unify the people culturally, allowing messages and laws to be communicated clearly from one region to another. Qin Shi Huang's rule was firm and often ruthless. He believed that strict laws and harsh punishments were necessary to maintain order. To control knowledge and thought, he banned and burned many historical texts that contradicted his vision, demanding loyalty to his centralized rule. Scholars who resisted these policies faced severe consequences, including execution or forced labor. Yet, despite these harsh tactics, many of his policies helped lay the foundation for a centralized Chinese state that would last for centuries. What set Qin Shi Huang apart from other rulers, however, was his obsession with death and what might come after it. He feared mortality deeply. Ancient records suggest that he was consumed by the idea of living forever. He sent envoys across the seas in search of magical herbs and potions that promised eternal life. He tried strange concoctions and entrusted alchemists with his fate, always hoping to find a way to avoid death. But when it became clear that immortality in the physical world was out of reach, he turned to another solution: eternal dominance in the afterlife. This idea led to one of the most ambitious burial projects in history. Somewhere outside the modern-day city of Sheon, he began constructing his final resting place. It was no ordinary tomb. He envisioned an entire underground empire, silent mirror of the one he ruled in life. He wanted to ensure that even in death, his power remained untouched and absolute. The Terracotta Army was born from this vision. Thousands of life-sized clay soldiers, complete with weapons, armor, horses, and chariots, were crafted to guard his spirit from enemies and serve him in the world beyond. Each figure was unique, with different facial expressions, hairstyles, and uniforms, as if modeled on real people. The level of detail and craftsmanship suggested not only a deep commitment to artistic excellence, but also a clear message. Qin Shi Huang intended to be remembered, revered, and feared long after his earthly reign ended. The tomb itself, yet to be fully excavated, is believed to contain rivers of mercury to represent water, palaces constructed from stone and bronze, and countless treasures meant to accompany the emperor on his eternal journey. Qin Shi Huang's reign, though brief, he died in 210 BCE, left an indelible mark. He may have ruled with an iron fist, but he also brought unity, structure, and a shared identity to a fragmented land. His dream of immortality, though never realized in the way he had hoped, did come true in another sense. His name still echoes through history books, his achievements studied, and his tomb remains one of the greatest archaeological wonders ever discovered. This brings us closer to understanding the mind of a man who changed the course of history, not just through war and politics, but through an extraordinary attempt to build an empire that would live on forever beneath the soil of China. But the story does not end with statues and silent tombs. Let's take you deeper, because there are still many secrets buried in that soil that can surprise you. And one of the most chilling among them lies within the mausoleum itself, beneath the rolling hills near Xi'an, hidden under layers of earth and silence, lies the mysterious mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang. Ancient texts from early historians describe it not just as a tomb, but as a sprawling underground empire built to mirror the world above. According to the records, it took over 700,000 workers to complete the massive project, many of whom were craftsmen, laborers, and convicted criminals. The mausoleum was designed as a subterranean palace. Inside it, the emperor could continue his reign in the afterlife with all the comfort and grandeur he had known in life. The layout was said to include grand halls, towers, and living quarters. But what made it truly remarkable were the details. A ceiling decorated with pearls and gems was meant to reflect the night sky, capturing the stars and constellations as they appeared in the heavens. The ground beneath was shaped to resemble mountains and valleys, with flowing rivers made not of water, but of mercury, a material chosen for its association with longevity and magic. These rivers of mercury, it is said, were made to move, controlled by an ingenious system of channels and mechanical pumps. The emperor's world would not lie still, even in death. He believed that such design would allow him to live in a realm where he could continue to govern, dream, and protect his empire. The ancient writings even suggest that officials were sworn to secrecy, and many of those who worked on the tomb may never have left it alive. Booby traps were also reportedly placed throughout the tomb. Arrows were set to fire automatically at intruders. Poisonous devices and hidden pits might have been placed to deter grave robbers. Qin Shi Huang wanted to ensure that no one could disturb his afterlife, and he planned with both precision and paranoia the emperor's coffin. Believed to be made of bronze and resting on a bed of precious stones, was placed in the center of this elaborate world. Around him were countless treasures, gold, jade, artifacts of state, and objects of ritual. It is also said that his many concubines who had no children were buried alive with him, a chilling reminder of how devotion to an emperor could last beyond death. Ministers and guards may also have shared that fate, buried in the vast underground palace to continue their service for eternity. The tomb was sealed tightly after the emperor's death, hidden under a large burial mound. Over the centuries, it became part of the landscape, blending into the hills as if nature had covered up the emperor's greatest secret. No outsider would guess that under that hill lay a kingdom made to rival the world above. While many tried to steal from other tombs in ancient times, this one was left untouched, perhaps out of fear or the sheer difficulty of breaching its protective barriers. The surrounding area was carefully guarded and managed, with entire towns and workers' camps once existing nearby during its construction. The mausoleum was the centerpiece of a much larger complex, believed to stretch across miles. Roads and walls led to it, and nearby were pits filled with thousands of life-sized clay soldiers. The Terracotta Army, placed to defend the emperor in death as they would have in life. All these details were recorded in old writings, passed down through generations. But for hundreds of years, the tomb itself remained hidden from view, covered by legend and forgotten by time. It became more than just a burial site. It became a symbol of one man's boundless ambition, a monument to a ruler who believed he could master life and death, command the stars, and build rivers that never dried. But just when it seemed the ancient silence would never break, a new rediscovery of the Terracotta Army sent shockwaves through the world, uncovering secrets that had been buried for over 2,000 years and raising questions no one was prepared to answer. In early 2025, a shocking rediscovery was made that reignited global fascination with the ancient Terracotta Army. Dr. Mei Lin, a respected Chinese archaeologist who had worked on the site for over 15 years, described the moment. With a trembling voice in an interview, "I have seen thousands of figures, each with their own face, their own story. But this one felt different," she said. This time it began during a routine excavation near the southern quadrant of Pit 1. A team led by Dr. Lin and supported by younger researchers, including newcomer archaeologist Jian Su, had been brushing through layers of earth when Jian's tools scraped against something unfamiliar. Unlike the typical dull brown hue of terracotta, this fragment shimmered slightly under the light, as if painted long ago, and still trying to speak through the dust of centuries. What they uncovered was unlike anything found before. Rising from the earth was a towering figure of a general, carved with exceptional detail and dressed in ornate armor that set him apart from the rest of the Terracotta Army. His breastplate bore intricate dragon designs, and his boots were not simple like the infantry soldiers, but lined with symbols historians later linked to elite military command. Most striking was his headdress, an elaborate crown-like piece that shimmered faintly with remnants of ancient pigment. This wasn't just another soldier. This was a man who commanded others, a general whose rank and power were immortalized. In clay, surrounding him were chariots drawn by 4 horses, also sculpted with great precision. The horses stood proudly, their muscles carved with lifelike tension, their eyes seeming to stare into a distant battlefield. The wheels of the chariots, the harnesses, and the reins were all carefully formed, capturing the strength and speed necessary for war. Dr. Lin explained, "We have always known the Terracotta Army was modeled after real people, but this statue feels like it captures the spirit of one man who mattered immensely to the emperor. His presence here changes everything." For archaeologists, this find was more than just a beautiful artifact. It revealed how detailed and organized the military structure of the Qin dynasty might have been. Every line etched into the armor told a story. The symbols spoke of rank, honor, and the burden of leadership. Jian Su, reflecting on his part in the find, shared, "We used to look at the army and see unity. Now we are beginning to see individuality, personality, even emotion. This man might have lived, fought, and died for the emperor, and now he stands once more." Veteran archaeologist Dr. Wei Zheng, who had studied the site since the late 1980s, expressed his amazement. "We always assumed there were generals, but no figure had ever stood out so clearly until now. This is a breakthrough not just in excavation, but in understanding the mind of the emperor and how deeply he thought about legacy." As news spread globally, museums, historians, and cultural institutions began expressing interest in collaborating with Chinese archaeologists to study the new discovery, while the general would not be moved from his resting place. 3D scans and detailed imaging were quickly taken to help share this remarkable find with the world. For Dr. Mei Lin and her team, the discovery was deeply personal. "We dig with our hands, yes," she said, "but we also dig with our hearts." This general stood here, silently, for over 2,000 years. Now he speaks again, and we are here to listen. This time, it is not merely a rediscovery. Scientists are deeply involved, and in this era of advanced technology, many hidden details are emerging, revealing secrets long buried beneath the earth. Scientists have discovered that the statues were originally painted with bright colors. Over time, centuries of burial and exposure to air caused much of this paint to fade or peel away, leaving the clay figures in their current muted tones. Using advanced imaging techniques, including X-ray fluorescence and infrared spectroscopy, researchers have been able to detect faint traces of pigments like red, green, blue, and black on the warriors' surfaces. This vibrant coloring would have made the army look astonishingly lifelike when first buried. The weapons found alongside the warriors also tell a remarkable story. Archaeologists and scientists, including Dr. Chen Wei and Professor Li Ming, have studied the bronze swords, spears, and crossbows with great care. They found that the weapons were manufactured using a highly organized system, similar to modern assembly lines. This means that parts of the weapons were made separately in workshops and then assembled efficiently. This process highlights the advanced industrial skills of the Qin dynasty, showing that they had mastered not only artistry but also complex production techniques. The durability of the Terracotta Army is also astonishing. The clay figures have survived more than 2,000 years underground, protected from the elements by the burial environment. The soil helped preserve the clay from erosion, while the precise firing process during their creation made the statues strong and resistant to cracking. However, many warriors have suffered damage over time from natural disasters and earlier excavations, which is why modern conservation efforts are crucial. Another surprising fact is that the emperor's central tomb remains unopened to this day, shrouded in mystery. What secrets could lie inside? The tomb has remained sealed for over 2,000 years, guarding its secrets closely. One major concern is the condition inside the tomb. The ancient builders designed it to be a perfect resting place for the emperor, but over centuries, the underground environment has become fragile. Experts worry that opening the tomb could cause irreversible damage. The delicate artifacts, made from materials like wood, silk, and paint, may have survived because they were protected from air and light. Once exposed, these treasures could deteriorate rapidly. This makes the task of excavation much more complicated than simply digging and removing objects. Historical texts provide some fascinating descriptions of what might be inside the tomb. Ancient writings speak of rivers of mercury flowing throughout the chambers, intended to mimic natural waterways and perhaps serve as a symbol of eternal life. The ceiling was said to be painted to resemble the stars and constellations in the night sky. Beyond the physical dangers, there is also the fear of traps. The tomb was constructed during a time when tomb robbers were common, and it is believed that elaborate traps and defensive mechanisms were installed to protect the emperor's remains and treasures. Opening the tomb without fully understanding these traps could endanger the lives of archaeologists and destroy valuable historical evidence. Scientists expect to find a wealth of items inside the tomb. Many believe there could be detailed maps showing the lands ruled by the emperor, elaborate artworks, and rare treasures that showcase the wealth and culture of the Qin dynasty. Some imagine that the tomb may even contain written records or artifacts that reveal more about Qin Shi Huang's personality, his beliefs about the afterlife, and his efforts to unify China. Despite the temptation to open the tomb and uncover its mysteries, the decision has always been to wait. Archaeologists are careful because they want to preserve history for future generations. Advances in technology may someday allow a safer exploration using robotic devices or non-invasive imaging to study the tomb's interior without damage. Until then, the tomb remains a powerful symbol of ancient Chinese culture, locked away beneath the earth. In many ways, the unopened tomb represents both a treasure and a warning. It is a treasure because of the knowledge and artifacts it promises to reveal. It is a warning because it teaches us about the fragility of history and the care needed to uncover it. The world watches with anticipation, knowing that one day this silent chamber will open. Until then, it guards its mysteries like the emperor. It was built for the timeless secret from a forgotten era. The discovery of the Terracotta Army did more than just unveil an ancient burial site. It opened a new window into China's rich cultural past and forever changed how the world views Chinese civilization. When the clay soldiers were first uncovered, they fascinated historians, artists, and everyday people alike. Their presence revealed the extraordinary craftsmanship and organization of a civilization that thrived over 2,000 years ago. This impact has spread far beyond the dirt and dust of the excavation site, influencing culture, education, and national pride. For China itself, the Terracotta Army quickly became a symbol of national pride. The discovery reminded the Chinese people of their long, continuous history and their ancestors' remarkable achievements. It highlighted a period when China was unified for the first time, which many view as the foundation of their modern nation. This connection to the past inspired renewed interest in archaeology and cultural preservation across the country. Schools began teaching more about the Qin dynasty and the importance of safeguarding heritage sites. Museums dedicated to the Terracotta Army attracts millions of visitors every year, not only from China but worldwide, spreading awareness of China's ancient history. The cultural impact is also deeply felt in the art world. The lifelike sculptures challenged modern artists and historians to rethink the sophistication of ancient art. The Terracotta Army stands as one of the earliest examples of realistic portraiture on such a massive scale. Each statue's unique expression and posture showed that these figures were not mere decorations but carefully crafted portraits meant to honor real individuals, or at least the emperor's vision of his army. This realization has inspired artists to explore themes of identity, power, and memory through sculpture and other art forms. It also influences contemporary Chinese art, blending tradition with modern creativity. Globally, the Terracotta Army helped put China at the center of archaeological interest. Before the 1970s, much of the focus in archaeology was on Western civilizations like Greece and Rome or Egypt. The discovery showed that East Asia also had a deep and rich cultural history worth exploring. This led to increased international collaborations in archaeological research, sharing knowledge, and cultural exchange programs. It has helped the world appreciate the diversity of human history and how different civilizations developed in unique and impressive ways. The impact even reaches into popular culture and media. Films, documentaries, and books about the Terracotta Army and Emperor Qin Shi Huang have captivated audiences worldwide. The story of an ancient army buried to protect an emperor in the afterlife resonates with many, blending mystery, history, and legend. This cultural fascination has sparked curiosity in Chinese history and encouraged people to learn more about other aspects of ancient China, such as the Great Wall and traditional philosophies. Furthermore, the discovery highlighted the value of archaeological preservation. It brought attention to the need to protect cultural heritage sites, not only in China but around the world. Many countries have since increased efforts to preserve their own archaeological treasures, realizing that these sites are irreplaceable links to the past. The Terracotta Army serves as a reminder of how fragile history can be and how important it is to study and protect it carefully. On a more personal level, the discovery of the Terracotta Army connects people to the human stories of the past. The soldiers were once living men, trained for battle and loyal to their emperor. Imagining their lives, their fears, hopes, and sacrifices makes history feel alive and relatable. It reminds us that history is not just dates and facts, but stories of people who shaped the world we live in today. In China, this connection has encouraged many to explore their own family histories and cultural roots. The pride in their ancient civilization helps strengthen identity and cultural continuity. Festivals, exhibitions, and educational programs often feature the Terracotta Army as a central theme, linking the past to the present in a way that inspires and educates new generations. Despite all these powerful cultural impacts, there's still one element that refuses to fade: the sense of ongoing mystery surrounding the Terracotta Army, even after decades of careful excavation and research. The Terracotta Army continues to guard more than just the tomb of China's first emperor. It guards its secrets. Thousands of clay soldiers stand silently in formation, their eyes frozen in time, yet their presence speaks volumes about a time long gone. And despite everything we know about them, there is still much more we don't. One of the biggest mysteries still surrounding the Terracotta Army is the unopened central tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Then there are the soldiers themselves. Made from clay, these figures were once brightly painted. What else might we be missing because of time and decay? Each soldier has a unique face, hairstyle, and expression, suggesting that they were modeled after real people. But who were they? What did they do in life before being turned into eternal guardians? That question remains unanswered. More surprisingly, recent analysis of the weapons found with the warriors revealed something remarkable. The weapons were created using a process similar to a modern assembly line, a level of efficiency and organization not previously believed to exist in that era. Scientists like Dr. Marcos Martinin Torres have shared that such precision points to a highly advanced society, far beyond what textbooks once described. How did they develop these techniques? Were these methods lost after Qin's empire fell? Or did they continue in secret across other dynasties? The Terracotta Army also sparks curiosity about Qin Shi Huang himself. His obsession with immortality was so deep that he searched the land for elixirs and magicians, all in an attempt to live forever. The army he left behind is proof that he wanted not just to survive death, but to rule it. What does this tell us about the beliefs and fears of ancient China's most powerful ruler? And if his dreams were so grand, what other wonders lie buried? With him, as technology continues to evolve, scientists hope that one day they will be able to uncover the tomb safely, preserve the artifacts properly, and maybe even bring color back to the warriors. Until then, the Terracotta Army remains one of the world's most extraordinary puzzles on eternal mystery, patiently waiting to be solved. What are your thoughts on the rediscovery of the Terracotta Army? Share your thoughts on the comments below, and don't forget to click on the cards on screen for more amazing stories and hidden mysteries from history.